So imagine you're at a restaurant. You don't necessarily want the $80 steak, but seeing it on the menu makes the $60 option seem reasonable. That $80 item is what they call a decoy, purposely high anchor that subtly influences you to buy what the restaurant really wants to sell. The relativity bias can lead us to base decisions on comparisons rather than intrinsic value. So, how do we avoid falling into this trap? First, you need to set absolute standards. Before comparing choices, decide what success means for that role, project, or purchase. This keeps comparisons from being the primary deciding factor. For instance, in hiring, list out the critical competencies and the desired qualities and rate each candidate independently against those standards. This reduces your reliance on direct comparisons. Google has developed a list of core competencies and cultural attributes that every candidate is evaluated against, such as their Googliness, right, which is team fit, innovation, and adaptability, and specific role-based skills. So instead of comparing candidates against each other, hiring managers at Google evaluate them based on these predefined standards with a rating system that ensures each candidate meets Google's absolute requirements before they're hired. Second, change your perspective. Instead of narrowing your focus on side-by-side options, broaden it. How would each choice benefit your team or organization as a whole? Managers sometimes evaluate employees strictly based on side-by-side comparisons with peers, leading to promotions or raises for those that stand out in relation to others. But this approach often overlooks employees' unique strengths or growth potential because it prioritizes who's better at the moment rather than who's making meaningful progress or has a better long-term fit. Deloitte revamped its performance review process by shifting from side-by-side employee comparisons to individual performance assessments. Instead of ranking employees based on relative standing, now they use a system that evaluates each employee based on their personal development, contributions, and potential. This approach includes goal-setting discussions that align with the individual's career aspirations as well as the company's strategic goals, helping each employee focus on the long-term growth for themselves rather than outperforming peers in the short term. Finally, recognize and limit decoy influence. When evaluating options, be aware of decoys. For example, if you're reviewing quotes or options, consciously ignore the decoy option and focus on the actual value each brings. Understanding the decoy effect can help leaders make decisions that are less influenced by irrelevant comparisons. When you're aware of the relativity bias, you'll start to see it everywhere, and you'll recognize its impact on the decisions you make daily. So break this cycle of relativity, and you'll make choices that aren't just rational, but right.